Maybe they weren't actually direct, but through an intermediary.
No, I have not spoken to Mr. Assange. I have not met with Mr. Assange, and I never said I had. I said we communicated through an intermediary, somebody who is a mutual friend.
Now, that sounds far less sturdy and could even leave people saying maybe the whole thing's made up. Then two other points thicken this plot. First, Twitter messages leaked from Stone to WikiLeaks that on their face made it seem like Stone was not in direct touch with Assange during the campaign. And second, Stone went from refusing to disclose his claimed mystery intermediary to ultimately revealing him.
I'm not going to burn somebody who I spoke to off the record. If he releases me, if he allows me to release it, I would be happy to give it to the committee.
Then, as the Russia probe heated up in November, Stone did release the name of his intermediary, a New York Politico and radio host named Randy Credico, which added apparent credibility to Stone's big theory because the two were associates who did media together.
We are joined by WBAI's Randy Credico.
Well, it's great to be on the show, Roger.
And Credico is also a figure in the Russia probe and in the rarefied world of directly communicating with Julian Assange.
It's this guy, Randy Credico. The name of the individual is Randy Credico.
Who is Randy Credico?
The fellow named Randy Credico.
Credico, who has emerged now as a figure in this drama.
Now, if you're going to claim someone is your back channel to Assange, to be credible, it needs to be someone who talks to Assange, which is a small group. Assange rarely does interviews with American journalists. Past few years, he spoke to the New York Times once, the New Yorker once, NBC once. He spoke to Fox reporters twice. But he spoke to Credico 3 times. Now, Assange, a global figure who's called everything from an influential publisher to a freedom fighter to an enemy of the state, that man talks to Credico about all kinds of things.
What is your overview of this election in the United States? If I may just get away from...
Well, in some ways, it's super interesting.
This whole thing about Russia and trying to vilify you as some agent of the Russians, it's complete garbage. What is your response to that?
Well, it is complete garbage.
So as we report out what Bob Mueller's hunting and whether any Russia or collusion-related crimes involve Assange and WikiLeaks and whether Trump advisor Roger Stone did get that secret political intel that he was bragging about from Julian Assange, which would help Trump, for all those questions, Randy Credico turns out to be one of the most interesting people to talk to, if only he would talk. Since the inauguration, he has not done a single interview on the national news until tonight. My exclusive guest on the beat right now is Randy Credico. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you, and thank you for getting the name right, okay? Because everyone else says Credico, Credecki.
We heard that. We heard some of those different names.
It's like I'm a character in a Dostoevsky novel.
Well, you're also a character in the Mueller probe, and partly because you do have something that a lot of people want, which is access to Julian Assange. How often do you speak with him? How did that come about?
Well, he did my show way back in 2016, and then I went to London a few months later, and then 2017 I did a 12-part series on my radio show at WBAI, and then over the last 4 months I've been to London and I visited him 3 times. So we communicate.
What do you think of him?
He's a great guy. He's a great journalist. I look at him the same way I would look at Elijah Lovejoy or any of these other abolitionist journalists back in the 1830s, 1840s. Elijah Lovejoy, people hated, and they killed him. He was a abolitionist. And so I look at Julian Assange the same way. I think he is a great journalist. He's never ever published a lie. Nothing's been confuted that Julian Assange has reported.
You're saying the materials he released, which includes stolen materials, tend to be authentic rather than forged.
Right. Yes, absolutely. There's nothing
now, do you ever carry messages from him to other people?
Well, it depends on what you mean by that. Do I carry messages?
I can tell you exactly what I mean.
When you get back to the States, say hello to somebody. Yes, that could be something.
Randy, do you want me to narrow my question?
Yes, go ahead.
Do you ever carry messages from Julian Assange about what he might plan to do or the nature of his work to other people anywhere else in the world?
No, absolutely not. I totally deny.
You deny that. Let me play you and Assange speaking about Roger Stone.
Okay, here we go. One of Trump's supporters, Roger Stone, who I know. I actually know Roger Stone. He was on this show, you know, go figure, a couple of weeks back. But he bandied your name. But then, of course, he backtracked and said he didn't know. He didn't have any communication with you. But, you know, he does toss things around.
Roger Stone is a rather canny spin master.
Yes.
And we have not had any communication with him whatsoever.
In that exchange, you mention him, and Assange says he doesn't have direct communication. The allegation from Mr. Stone is that you are the intermediary between Assange and him.
Well, it depends on what you mean by a back channel. I think Roger Stone has downgraded my participation as a back channel into someone that now has confirmed. First, he said he had direct communications with Assange, and then he downgraded that. Now it's to the point where I confirmed. Now, I had Roger Stone on my show many times in 2016 and 2017. I had Assange on 3 times, and we had a lot of conversations. I did his show, and I have no idea some of the things I may have said to him, but certainly did not pass any information from Julian Assange to Roger Stone.
You flatly deny that Stone allegation. I want to dig more into that, but I also, before we go deep into that, because you're not only here to talk about Mr. Stone, your relationship with Assange, which is so newsworthy, I want to play a little bit of Julian Assange in June 2016, a critical period. This is when he was touting what he had on Hillary Clinton, the upcoming leaks. Take a listen.
Boy, you are prepared.
We have upcoming leaks in relation to Hillary Clinton, which is great. We actually have WikiLeaks has a very big year. We have emails related to Hillary Clinton, which are pending publication. That is correct.
Pending is the key word. That's before they came out. Stone says explicitly you confirmed to him the accuracy of that claim.
Of that claim, maybe I confirmed it after it came out. If he asked me, is that true, what already came out? Is it true? I would say to him, check WikiLeaks website.
So maybe you did confirm for Stone what Assange was saying.
Wait a second. Let's not confuse us. You see, already, I wasn't expecting this, okay? Because I have to get the dates right.
Yeah.
I never did confirm something like that. I never said, hey, Roger, this is coming out in a few days. If he were to say to me, I had him on my show for 1 hour. I'm surprised he didn't play that in July. I had Roger Stone, and he asked me about WikiLeaks.
Randy, we may play it.
You may play it. Well, let's hear what, there's 6 or 7 Roger Stone interviews here. And did I confirm the June 12th, the June 14th? Which one? Want to go to the Podesta one? The Podesta, we're talking about the Podesta.
Sure.
Roger Stone, that was, when was that? When was that? The Podesta. I had Julian Assange on my show for the very first time, August 25th. That's the first time I ever communicated with Julian Assange.
Well, on August 8th, you have Stone saying that he communicated with Assange and that a tranche of Clinton email documents would come out in this so-called October surprise. That's August 8th. Are you saying, by referencing this timeline, that that's not something that Stone could have gotten from you at that time?
You know what? You're going to do a tricky Dick Richard Nixon on me? I'm going to come right back and do some impressions with you.
I know you're good at impressions, but are you buying time? Are you buying time, or are you telling me that that was a lie?
Is a trickster. Roger Stone is a shady character, okay? I know Roger Stone, and I'm doing my Reagan right now.
And it's not a bad Reagan.
Nixon, well, you know he worked for Nixon. And why would I be associated with Roger Stone to help? But the worst thing about all of this is that I am connected now to Stone, connected to Trump being the president. I am vilified by a lot of my fellow Democrats. I'm a Democrat. I'm a McGovern Democrat. I helped Bernie Sanders. I worked on his campaign. Now, if you want me to surprise you, I'll surprise you with some Bernie Sanders impressions.
Maybe we'll go out. Maybe we'll go out. We'll go to one of these New York karaoke bars, and we could do karaoke, which I love as music, and we could do your impressions. What I want to do, though, is you understand how central you are to this. And I understand you're saying you maybe don't want to to be central anymore. I want to move forward, though, with this. Number one...
You know I took the fifth.
Well, hold on. Let me do the interview, right? That's fair. Number one, has anyone related to the Mueller probe asked for you to provide anything, testimonial or evidence?
No.
When you were asked about this by the House, you took the Fifth Amendment, which you just mentioned. We're thinking along the same lines. Why did you do that? Why not just go tell them what happened?
Because I could. Because they took the Fifth Amendment. The same reason why the Hollywood 10 took the Fifth Amendment.
You did it to send a message.
Yes, absolutely.
What was the message?
The message is that I consider this entire probe to be a waste of time and a witch hunt, and it's scary. It is very scary the way they are going after people. I was not going to dignify this committee by talking to them. Plus, my lawyers tell me I talk too much. So, and I go off on tangents like I just did with Nixon, and I may do with Jack Nicholson because I'm going to tell the truth.
Let me ask you this, and you know, I want the truth and I can handle it. Let me ask you this. Why take the Fifth when you are a self-identified member of the media? Why not say that you don't want to disclose journalistic sources?
Because my lawyers, I have 4 or 5 lawyers that said take the Fifth.
You did this on the advice of counsel.
Yes,
I get that, and you have that right.
And I would do it anyway, because like I said, I think they've overreached. Look, I don't like Trump any more than anybody, and there are a lot of reasons to go after him.
But you do like Assange. But you do like Assange.
I'm a big fan of Assange.
And you don't think
I'm a civil rights activist.
And if he gets material from foreign governments or espionage operations, you don't think there's anything wrong with him leaking them?
What espionage operation?
I'm asking, if he gets those materials from an espionage operation, if he does, do you think there's anything wrong with him playing in U.S. politics that way?
I think what he did by exposing the crimes, war crimes in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and the real collusion, which was within the Democratic National Committee, how they denied Bernie Sanders.
You don't have a problem with that?
I don't have a problem.
I hear you.
That's my opinion.
We've had big supporters of Sanders on the show who say if the emails are true, what's wrong with that? There's a lot of other people who say that if it's targeted out of espionage, it is a little different than what you say, which is, yes, WikiLeaks exposed much wrongdoing in the war example. I want to give you, I want to give you, Randy,
the same thing.
I want to give you, and we've set aside time for you, but I want to get you on the record. Roger Stone emailed out today new things about you. I want to get your response. Number one, he said in the Russian roulette book that your memory is either selective or faulty. He says that you confirmed that Assange had credible information on Hillary Clinton's campaign. And then with regard to this timeline, in this new piece called Randy and Me, he says, he told me the leaks would be released October 1st. I consider him a confirming source and little else, despite my hype of calling him a back channel. From the end of July through August until the end of September, Credico insisted Assange was about to publish material on the Democrats, which Randy, that's you, described as devastating to Hillary. Is that true or false?
I think Roger Stone moves around and says a lot of different things. I think his memory is selective. But I don't want to see the guy.
Randy, I got to stop you. You just said he moves around.
Yes.
You're moving around. I read you the statement. Is it true or false? I'll read it again if you want.
Go ahead, read it again.
This is at issue in a criminal probe regarding a lot of important things. From the end of July through August until the end of September, Credico insisted Assange was about to publish this material on the Democrats, which Randy described as devastating to Hillary. Is that true or false?
False.
That's false. So Roger Stone is lying. Is he lying to save himself?
I think Roger Stone has selective memory right here. Roger Stone, what he did to me was he revealed my name. I took the Fifth Amendment. He wouldn't take the Fifth Amendment. He wouldn't take the First Amendment.
Did you authorize him to reveal your name?
No, I didn't.
So when he said, and some of this makes, in your telling, him look bad. When he said, I showed the video earlier, that he would only release the name if authorized, was he lying?
Yes. I never authorized for him to release my name, but he did anyway. I mean, it was just a threat of a subpoena. He never got a subpoena. It was a threat of a subpoena. But at the same time, if he wants to call me a confirming source, I don't want to see the guy go to jail. I worked my entire last 15 years.
How would you describe your relationship with Roger right now?
Roger Stone, I think once a week we have email exchanges.
Why is it? And
why am I with a guy like that?
No, that's not what I'm asking.
Roy Cohn, and I'm with William Kunstler.
Randy, When people at home watch this and they see Sam Nunberg come out and defend him, they see you guys are friends. Are you guys all friends or not? What is the deal?
I've known Roger Stone for a long time. We worked on a campaign in 2002, the Golisano campaign. Then I worked with him in a few other Democratic races 5 or 6 years later. He goes years without talking about me. He has tweeted out that I'm dead.
You're saying he's lying about you and what you did in the status of a criminal probe where you took the Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incriminating yourself for a crime, but you're still cool with it.
I thought you were going to be Larry King and not Mike Wallace. You are all over me here. Now, give me a chance to breathe, all right?
We've given you more time in this interview than most guests.
Well, because I'm an interesting guest, because I don't remember a thing. I'm a recovering alcoholic. You know, Sam Nunberg, you want me to be out like him?
Well, I try to treat everyone here with respect, so let's focus on who's at the table. Let me read another interesting thing, because you are in the middle of this. I mean, your access to Assange is different than most journalists. Journalists in this building would kill to go get in the embassy.
I'll be your back channel and get you an interview with Assange. But after watching this, he's not going to do it.
Well, that's
because you're going to have something like this pre-planned.
By pre-planned, do you mean prepared for the interview?
Yes.
With facts and the recent history?
Here's my notes. Notes from the Underground by Dostoevsky, because I'm a Russian agent here.
My purpose is not to set up the next interview, but to make sure that we're fair and factual in this one. Let me ask you this about your visit, or alleged visit, because in August, this critical period, Roger Stone tells Alex Jones he has, quote, back-channel communications with Assange, and he's got information coming on the WikiLeaks against Clinton. On August 18th, he says the word intermediary. On October 2nd, he tweets publicly, Assange will educate the American people. October 2nd. 3 days later, you tweet in a way that suggests you were leaving the Ecuadorian embassy. 2 days later, WikiLeaks releases the batch of emails.
Right.
Did you visit Assange in that October trip?
I visited the embassy, but I did not get in. I was there.
You did not get in?
No, I was there for 3 days. I visited a fellow by the name of Barry Crimmins. May he rest in peace, my guru in comedy. He just died, and that's the reason why I was there. I tried to see Assange, but I didn't get in. The same way Roger Stone, a few weeks back when he was in London, tried to see Assange, and he didn't get in. He was walking around like Hans Christian Andersen with the top hat on, if you recall. So, yes, I was there outside the embassy. I passed a letter from WBAI to Julian Assange, but I didn't visit him until last year, which is, I don't know, 6 months ago, and then another time in November. 3 times I visited the guy, and I considered him a very close friend, and I'm working very hard to make sure that this guy gets out. He can visit his mother, can visit his son, and continue to do journalism just like you're doing. And I would defend you the same way.
Randy Credico, you have a long record here. You clearly care about these issues. You could have gone to a lot of different places to break your silence. I appreciate you coming on the beat, sir.
Thank you very much. It might be my last interview now, all right?
Randy Credico.
Thank you very much. I have a long record, 10 years in Leavenworth, I think. All right.
Randy Credico, our exclusive interview on the beat tonight. Up ahead, we're going to tie a lot of this together, speaking to a reporter who has broken many important stories on this, and an update on case